Good evening once more to the chatters and anybody watching. Welcome back to ETF2L Season 52. The top division. Prem is still kill, for now, at least. We're still in the top division. It's going to be another matchup for week 1. It is going to be Club Lugs versus Explosive Dogs, the new French team to fill the void of the French team having left us previously. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, hi, I'm Sturdy, joined by JMax on the production and Turbo on the mic. How you doing, man?
I am here for the top division, Cerny. I've watched 2 games so far from this week 1, and I'm converted. I'm glad that Prem is dead and buried, because these top games have been a lot more interesting because they've been so messy.
I get you. I mean, there's a lot of new faces that we're seeing in Prem in top this season because of it, right? Because it's like mixed together with a lot of Div 1 teams and teams coming up and mixing around, and a lot of people just coming in because a lot of space has been made by teams not playing this season that you would have seen even just half a year ago.
Yeah.
We should probably just go over the teams for that matter, right? Because these are completely newly mixed together, at least for people at the top level. Sure, the French team might have some familiar faces on it, at least officially. They also have a bit of a mix-up, so we'll never know exactly who they're playing with, although it seems to be their main roster this time around. It would be Sosok on the Medic, Afri on the Demo, Alien Smiley and Zen, who are the only 2 names of that name that I remotely recognize playing on the Soldier classes, and then Yakalilo and Tenno as the Scout duo. Do you know any of these players besides the 2 I've mentioned?
I know Sussex has been around. Afri's kind of new to me. Tenno's kind of new to me. So yeah, basically bar for bar, similar with you. I think these French communities have always been really tight knit. When they'll have like their all sort of exclusive pugs and their little events, and obviously their little lands as well, where they'll get together and they'll kind of foster a lot of new players and mix them around a lot with the old guard. So it's not a surprise that they kind of can come up with a team that can be fairly quite competitive to the top level that quickly.
Yeah, they have a lot of players to pull from, and if they have at least a couple of players like Alien who have a ton of experience, right, just kind of maybe taking the helm a little bit, taking the charge, bringing in the boys, the lads, sure, there's potentially. I guess we'll see how well they hold up, because the other team has some experienced names on it, right? The not Danger Lugs, Club Lugs. There are a couple of familiar names that I maybe haven't seen at the top of European TF2 for a while, but it is Loopy and Grix on the Scouts, Gigi and Evie on the Soldiers. Gigi usually more so of a demo player, but you know, Rivka on demo for that matter, and then Fat Pigeon rounding out the roster on the Medic class. So some new names, but also some familiar names that we have seen at the top of this league before, and even at LANs and stuff. So a mix of experience here as well.
Yes, I think this team is a little less kind of yak flavored, where they're kind of like a mishmash of people coming together just to have a fun time in TF2, and more of the competitive side. At least this is what these teams and names strike me as. They are very much more coded to maybe knuckling down and improving from week to week.
I can see that. It is going to be interesting to see, right? Because there's obviously week 1, and these teams aren't going to be playing everybody in the season because there's 10 teams and it's only 7 weeks, right? So they won't be meeting up with everyone. There is a chance that, you know, if they make it to playoffs, they might meet some other team from the brackets they didn't play in a regular week and all that stuff. But it is going to be interesting to see how the teams evolve over the weeks as well, especially with a lot of them being like newly mixed together and taking their time to adjust and get into strategies and stuff like that. Also depends on how much they've been scrimming, right? We've known about the dates of the season for like, what, a month now? They've probably been scrimming for a couple of weeks, maybe. So it's going to be very interesting to see how a lot of the newcomers shake out, how they adjust, and how the map choices maybe play into it early on as well, because I'm sure some of these teams already have preferences. We're playing Bagel as our first map tonight, for instance, which it's a fun map to see. I like seeing it.
Yeah, it's a map known as the Exposer in my eyes. So when you whip out a map like this against a week 1 team, you kind of show the cracks of your team and your team talks, and whether or not you've got that sort of synergy down, because there's a lot of ways you can tackle a Bagel map. And if not everybody's on the same page, or not everyone's agreeing to what sort of job or what kind of style, or maybe even sort of preferences of how they take and play TF2 in their more mechanical ways, it kind of gets exposed. So with an answer like that, it kind of makes me think I want to lean more Frenchy side, because obviously these guys play a lot together in their little like sort of in-houses and such. So they're more likely to kind of vibe on these maps. But who knows how much homework Gigi and the gang have been doing.
Yeah, it's always possible. And it might also be like just the French synergy, right? We always hype up the national synergy. It's always been a thing for the French teams. And it's like this constant in ETF2L. There always has to be a French team near the top that just kind of has that synergy in some ways. And I mean, maybe there's a bit of cross-contamination as well, because as far as I know, Pigeon is also French. So, perhaps going to be a little bit of a maybe a national thing. I don't know if Pigeon also plays in the French mixes and whatnot. I would just assume every French player in European TF2 just is part of the group.
They're like a Borg, and they all just have one hive mind, and they just link up together. It's like, I know they're going to be pushing here from here, gang. It's been sent down the hive mind.
Hopefully, maybe. It's gotta be. You think there's any players that you want to be looking out for here that I think are going to be very, very impactful, especially on this first map, that we're gonna see some crazy stuff out of potentially?
It's always interesting to look at the highest regarded players. So like Alien Smiley's probably the strongest lot. He had a really strong LAN at from the last couple of LANs. He kind of turned a lot of heads from a lot of the top teams and players, kind of underrating him and then really firing up. So it makes me think, how good is this guy playing against maybe just below the bar players that he's used to at these LAN events? So will he be just taking over the game, or is he just not that kind of player where it's that kind of style of TF2 where you are so used to playing high regarded TF2 that you treat a team with a lot of respect, but you could probably be getting away with a lot more if you kind of just pretended that these teams don't really have that sort of caliber to them, if you catch my drift.
I get you. I'll raise you on that on the other side. Obviously, Gigi, pretty accomplished player. I haven't seen much of this Gigi Soldier. I think we've seen a bit of it before, but obviously, like just mechanically and just as calls wise and stuff, probably a core player for the team. But also, I do remember Loopy being a pretty dangerous scout a few times I've seen him play. So there could be something here. And I mean, it is Bagel. It is not as extreme as it is on Product, but it is still kind of like a map where scouts can wreak some havoc, right? And obviously Grix is a solid player as well to back him up. So I feel like maybe there's someone on that scout duo that we can potentially see something out of, right? There's a possibility here at least.
Yeah, Bagel, a lot more job orientated rather than like the sheer DM. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, any map that has like 6 players all can congregate or rotate around an area in like 2 seconds is always going to be DM heavy. But the scout here has a lot more sort of little jobs and roles, like about that point pressure or kind of playing off the synergy and with the roamer and when making these pushes through house. So, whether or not these scouts have good DM, it's whether or not they can kind of rise occasion to their jobs. So I'll be interested to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now that we're almost ready, Turbo, if you had to put a number to it, what do you think the scoreline will look like in about half an hour?
French, probably 3-0 for this map.
Okay. This is very confident in their abilities. I don't necessarily disagree. I'm ready to be surprised to see what the Frenchies are going to do here. And also, I'm already noticing the config is not quite correct, probably, but whatever. They'll sort this one out. For now, teams may very well actually be playing. I guess we'll see. They reset. There you go. They will be playing now. All right, taking it away on the Bagel. First map of Club Lugs versus Explosive Dogs, not Danger Dogs. There's been a lot of dog teams over the years. It is a new French team rising to the occasion. The old ones may have faltered, but parts of it remained. The French are back with a vengeance, and we'll see just how this first mid-fight goes for either side here. Who can take a little bit of an early lead, because, well, a little bit of early presence control here, an early frag on Bagel can certainly make it easy. Get that time ticking early. The time being, they're just spamming across the point as you do. Not nobody bombing or anything yet either, just taking it slow, taking a bit of an easy approach. A bit of cap time rung out by the Lugs, but that's about it for the time being. And there's a scrap unfolding. Nobody dying just yet. Evie still staying alive as well, just somehow keeping in there. And it's going to be the point flipping for Lugs.
Yeah, it's very passive gameplay coming out for the Club Lugs. They are just playing so far back, they're even kind of giving up a bit of house control to start off with. They do start off by getting to Zen pick early on, and that gives them enough confidence to start pushing these houses. And they exchange Ubers on point, but they've had no real reason to use over on Bat Pigeons. So they're just going to hold on to theirs cold cut.
A bit of an unfortunate Uber as well for the Frenchies there. Tenno not finding the shots needed to get a force out of anything. Obviously, Pigeon just happily hanging on to that Uber and making it a little bit easier here. Afri going down as well makes it even harder for the French side here to really re-aggress on this point. They still don't have to worry about it too much yet. They have a couple of players keeping them in tow. They just got to get to that point again eventually. A bit of aggression there obviously onto Pigeon as well. Buying them some time, but they gotta get that Uber up again quickly, and they're just bleeding time. It's a minute off the clock already. These French players nowhere to be seen right now, just holding out for this forward hold eventually now on the side of Lugs, and we'll see how they try to bust this one. Uber's coming up. They're about 15% left before they get there, and if they get some nice opening frags here, perhaps they can make it easy. Nope, Zen dying, unfortunately, is probably gonna put a halt on that for now.
Yeah, and they do a nice job of actually backing out as well. It's very tempting to kind of get that first opening frag and then just kind of stick around when you've got no ammo chambered in ready. And Tenno's looking like he wants to do a solo YOLO Uber. He does force the Uber charge this time, but I think that's more for the benefit of Loopy, just to maybe possibly get aggressive. But they don't really find anything off the back of it. And now, what's the plays here? It looks like Zen wants to push the flank, and he will find the kill onto Gigi, but Loopy will be there to punish, so it just goes back to, oh no, we're actually trading cards all over the shop here.
Finding the couple of cleanup there onto the scouts as well, and finally the point is under Explosive Dog's control for the first time here. Not the healthiest on Afri, but he will live, and there you go. They can now start taking some control, and they desperately need to. That is a minute and 16 left now on the clock for the side of Club Lugs, so they have been in control for a while here. And if they let them through again, get that point, it's gonna be nasty. They do not have that much time to work with. Afri already going down isn't gonna make it any easier, and positions already lost for the Explosive Dogs means this is gonna be their point to lose. The only saving grace being that the Ubers are still kind of equal, and oh my god, Eevee, what a bomb into the backline. Still crucially, Sasuke alive though, so even if they lose the point now, they can re-aggress with the Uber immediately.
Ooh, certainly. I should have held on to the receipt when I made that purchased that prediction for the 3-0 French squad. I maybe put too much inclination on the flag, but yeah, there's a very strong showing from Club Lugs so far. And they've had a couple of nice sort of moments to boot. They are going to force this still on the French squad, so they're not taking this map line down.
They kind of can't afford to, man. They have barely time left to make anything happen here. 45 seconds left on the clock for the side of Club Lugs. It's plenty of time for the Frenchies to actually retake the point, but they have to do something. Uber's being exchanged. It's a bit better for the side of Lugs. Less flashing to be done as well, as everybody just kind of stares at each other, waits for the Uber to run out, and it's going to be on his post-Uber fight and positioning. With Zen already dead, that's going to be disadvantaging the French side, though, ever so slightly, and they're not really in the position to aggress much, but they have no choice. They need to stand on that point if they want to have any sort of opportunity at staying in this round. Trading out Yakalilo for GG on the flank side might just be something that can help them a little bit here. It's probably a very important call and remove for the Lugs, but they still need to get that point capped off eventually, and maybe they're just about gonna edge that one out, but the time is ticking. We're gonna go into overtime. That's a nice little frac there onto Eevee. You need to get a little bit more. You need to get that point, crucially, as well. Ubers are gonna almost be playing against Zen. Nice little bomb into the backline, but not quite getting the frag needed. Alien slipping in as well. Getting the frag onto Rivka, but dying himself, and it's just an endless back and forth here. Eventually they get the point though, and now it's 2 minutes on the clock for Lugs to just retake it.
Yeah, but now you're playing simple TF2. You just need to cap back the point, and they make the force happen earlier against the Explosive Dogs. And the post fight should be a bit simpler. They've got a solo Uber and they popped later, but they just don't have enough damage coming out from Loopy, and there's not really a collapse coming out from the rest of these Club Lugs. So whether or not they can find the frags towards the end, they do take out the Demo Man, but the skirmishing power of Alien Smiley and Zen seems to be a little bit stronger. They can, and yeah, they actually have enough sort of firepower to deal with Grix as well. That could have finished off some very low players there, and it's looking pretty grim, but I think 1 minute left. They should still be able to do this with the respawners over on the side of Club Lugs.
They're gonna have to get it there. The Ubers are still equal, both medics holding on to it fine for now, and it probably comes into play eventually. Tenno going down, that's opening up nicely for Lugs earlier, and there's so much cap time that nobody can block. Nobody's on the initiative to take back that point control, and there you go. First round going the way of Club Lugs. Your prediction is already horribly wrong, Turbo, and you will be executed in the court of public opinion for it.
Yes, goodbye, Clout. Goodbye. It was nice knowing you, but this is a happy accident. I really like it when a team is actually showing up and proving me wrong here. So let's see if they can continue it up, and maybe if they can adjust over on Explosive Dogs. They need to keep that point blocked. That's the kind of downfall of that previous round.
Yeah, they need a little bit more point focus, point pressure, play on it more, not as passive as they have been, but around to get adjusted perhaps, and that's where it starts going. We'll see if they can find their approach here. For the time being, the old start, again, a bit slow for the side of the Frenchies, but they're just taking a bit of a conservative approach. But this time it's working out, though, as Loopy's the first to fall, and Eevee might just fall as well, just narrowly escaping the fight, and the point flips in favor of the French side for now. They're going to be in control for now. And they still have a lot of pressure forward as well. Rivka taking a lot of damage from Zen. Eventually gets cleaned up, but still, that's just, slowing Lugs down a little bit, giving them no position to work with. Ubers in play now for both medics. Gonna be down to who presses right click first. Who's got the itchier trigger finger? A lot of damage dealt onto the side of Lugs. Rivka again almost dead. There you go, cleaned up as the Uber comes around. Pigeon not having to pop just yet. Holding on nicely, actually. Milking that Uber beautifully. Dropping your demo for it, probably fine if you can now get a great Uber to follow up with. And no Soldier just about following up on that medic yet either, so still going well, going fine. Point not quite in control yet, but that Uber is such a threat for the Frenchies to have to worry about now. And if they can clean it up, or they can clean up the players before it, it might just be a problem. And as Loopy's just running havoc in the front lines, maybe they don't even need that Uber. As it turns out, just one scout killing a couple players lets you get the point anyway.
Yeah, on the bright side, though, they do get a lot of time over on the side of Explosive Dogs because of that. That Uber could have been used a bit more proactively if I want to be really, really picky over on the side of Club Lugs, but it works out in the end. Now they have this Uber charge, they have the point, so this is a very commanding presence still, despite that sort of particular.
Certainly an opportunity here still. Timer almost equalizing again. It's getting there slowly but surely, but Frenchies are putting some time on it, and Sussa coming up on an Uber again soon as well. Maybe, just maybe, they'll have a nice opportunity to actually hang on to it too, as it flips back into their control. It's going to be down to how they respond to this. Are the Lugs going to take the initiative this time around? They do have to get onto this point. They do have to start taking time down for themselves again. Maybe take the proactive Uber for once, but they've been very reactive so far, just kind of waiting. Lots of initiative out of the Frenchies usually with these Ubers, even at the defensive side, seeing what they can do. There it is once more, trying to chase on the demo. It was a response for once out of Pigeon this time around. It's just a matter of who gets caught outside of it, and Grix will be the one to fall in that case, as the Ubers fade, and it's a reset. One player down either side as Alien goes down too. It's a Soldier Bomb deep send directly into the combo, but can't quite find the frags he needs to. Lots of damage, but they will all live for now. With both soldiers down, I think it's a lot of threat eliminated out of the French side.
Yes, but look at the time. There has been so much time taken away from Club Lugs during all of this. They need to make a strong showing in forward hold now if they want to earn that time back that they've lost from just all this waiting around with the Uber.
It's going okay so far. I mean, this is quite the commanding forward hold. Even with equal Ubers, they're not going to be able to hold onto it for long, especially as Afri spawns up again. But buying themselves some time just with that alone, giving themselves plenty of opportunity, plenty of room here to, slow these Frenchies down, get some time out of it. Alien dying, trying to bomb through certainly helps as well. Same with Zen. Managed to clean up Gigi and Grix on the other side at the very least, so maybe there's a chance here actually for the Dogs to get back out there. But a lot of time hasn't bought for Lugs. The times are almost equal again, and the Ubers are in play once more. Tenno is the solo on the blue side, Loopy is the solo on the red side, kind of just staring each other down, waiting to see how it goes. And with timer now ticking in favor of the Lugs, finally it has flipped. It's just a matter of how quickly Explosive Dogs can retake, and it looks like it's going to be very quick.
Yeah, it looks like they have a need to preserve that. I say that they have a need to preserve their life. Nice bomb coming in from Gigi. Is going to get the kill onto Sussex. Now it's just simple TF2. Keep Fat Pigeon alive. Play off your heals. Any damage you do is doubly fatal because it's just not going to get earned back.
Oh, nice bomb attempt there by Zen, but just ran out of rockets. Nice surf by Pigeon to get around the corner. Good defense of this medic, and that is a big add, man. That's like going to be 70% by the time Sussex actually gets to the front line. So it's going to be a rough one for the Frenchies to find a way back into this. Timers is still equal, though, crucially. That is what gives them a chance here still. They don't take too long with this. If they find a good bomb through, a good frag, Zen again just cleaned up Loopy on top of the soldiers right now. A little cap time being put down already, just a bit of a distraction. Maybe somebody overextended. Nah, it's going to be Yakalila actually traded out for Grix. But still, they busted through. They have a bit of ground now. All it takes is a little good bomb or a little bit of well-placed damage, and the things can turn very quickly here. Alien trying to take the initiative, charging ahead, Afri following up with damage across the point as well. Cap time being put down ever so slightly, but they still have to worry about that Uber. It's going to be there soon as well for the side of Sussex. And if he's not careful, he might not get it just in time he does, and they're probably going to be very proactive with this once more, trying to use it across as the Ubers are exchanged. Bagel caught out. Rivka is not going to be taking part in this post-fight, and that might be crucial for the side of the dogs here.
Yeah, it hurts losing your Demo Man on a King of the Hill map. So now they're actually going to go aggressive, knowing that they are stronger on the side of explosive dogs, but they're finding no frags. There we go, finally, in the tail end of that fight, they will find something, and they still hold on to this point. It's not been into overtime either, so even if a couple of slip-ups happen, they can kind of recover things on explosive dogs.
So far, so good. Time is ticking. It's not much left on either side of the clock here. And Lugs are kind of knowing that they need to start getting that clock ticking once more. One more cap on this might be all they need, but Rivka caught out again. It's going to be a big pick to get here for the Explosive Dogs. Makes it so easy. Zen, nice bomb in as well. Can't quite get the cleanup done, but still.
Nice arrow from Fat Pigeon, though.
It's doing the Lord's work. You're keeping the team alive. Still, everybody's so low. They just have to back up so much off of all that damage. But how long can they afford to, right? The time is ticking. We're 5 seconds now almost. There you go, 5 seconds left on the clock. Gigi goes down as well. It's not looking good at all for the Lugs. They don't even have that much point pressure at all. They just about get the Uber off. Sussex not having to use for so long.
Nice Uber.
Eventually milks it out nicely, and there you go. That might just be curtains.
Oh no! They're not finding any damage on anyone though throughout all of this. There are the soldiers. Thank goodness the cavalry comes home, and blessed be. They really needed that second wind from the soldiers to come in, but they left me waiting in suspense.
Bit of a strategy, get everybody to bunch up on the point and just let Alien and Zen bomb in and do all the work. There you go. Making it 1-0. A bit closer, maybe, than for comfort for the Frenchies, but they're bringing it back. It's 1-0. 2 to go, potentially. Maybe 3. We'll see how long it takes either team now to start running away with it. Pretty evenly matched so far, and the Frenchies probably warm up a little bit now. After that first round that was a bit more decisive side of the Lugs.
My clout is coming back to me, please. Okay, so they're doing a much better adjustments this time. They definitely had a different, more approach to the point that round. They are very on top of the job for the pocket scouts, keeping that point blocked. Zen's going to get things started off, and he finds fishing really nothing here, so they will come out a little scabier on explosive dogs. So they're going to give up a bit of ground, but they don't want to get out cleanly here. Oh goodness, Dano's gone down.
Well, that's unfortunate. Their escape route cut off, and that's 3 players down now with the point of control as well for Lugs. They are clapping right back. That was the fluke round for them, clearly. And now they're just squarely back in control, ruling with an iron fist. Forward hold here as well. Crucially, Sussex stayed alive, so Uber's still in play for the French side. Plenty of opportunity to get yourself out here, but having to use this early, just trying to get some ground, really not ideal. You do get forced out of Pigeon at least. But you lost your demo for it, and now everybody else just scattering through the winds again. Loopy might clean up some more frags here as well. Can't quite get it, but Grix is there to clean it up. It is a trade at the end of the day. Loopy gets cleaned up as well, so actually, there's some staying power here for the Explosive Dogs.
Oh, Rivka could get picked off here, but I think they must think on Explosive Dogs that he's so much safer than he actually is, so they will just kind of respect him and let him back off there. And now they're playing off their man advantage, seeing if they can just claim the point cheekily.
It's a very fast point to cap, so it's a very fair opportunity to do that. After he gets taken down by the bomb, but at the very least, you do manage to get some time ticking off, and that is crucial here with 1 minute almost down on the clock for Lugs already. I think that is very, very fair to just try and get something rolling there. Zen bomb across again, just cutting off the escape route together with Alien as well. They're just hemming them all in as best they can. That's DG down, that's Grix down.
Alien!
Here goes Pigeon and Rivka. Beautiful flank out of Alien, finally finds what he needs to, and that is dominating control now for the Explosive Dogs.
It's a similar principle to losing your Demo Man early on mid. The best way to kind of cover for that is send your soldiers straight away and just try and see if they can fish something out. And the beauty of Alien is he didn't really go for like the strong damage rockets. He just went for a good landing destination where he goes inside the enemy house, picks up a health pack, reloads, and flanks around.
And it worked beautifully. Now the forward hold working kind of well for the Frenchies here. They do get forced though, and that is crucially what the Lugs wanted. Nice skip shot there to Alien. Nice attempt at least to get something forward with it, but unfortunately, the Uber isn't finding much. And with, well, even just 2 players down, yeah. They're going to have to back off again on the French side here. The Uber is going to be in play now. for Lugs, and I have to wait a little bit longer, but their forward hold is not happening anymore, and unless these flanks get something, Yakalilo and Zen, I think, here very aggressively forward. They do find Eevee at the very least, but is that enough to really slow them down? Pigeon needs a bit of damage. They really don't want to have to use this Uber on the side of Lugs if they don't have to. But things are not always as good as they seem. They do have to use here eventually as Loopy just tries to chase people off, and they do get a couple of frags cleaning up those flankers behind eventually. But that was a lot of work just to get the point back, and you're still down on time as well. So plenty of opportunity for the dogs to come back. We're so disconnected now. Nice opportunity to re-aggress.
Yeah, the explosive dogs just didn't keep their flank in the same succession as their combo. So when they backed off, they actually stayed in-house. And they did make some plays by turning a couple of frags around. And we're getting a bit greedy and aggressive, actually, over on the side of Club Lugs. But Eevee is managing to salvage what has been a hairy situation.
Yeah, nice serve there by Sussex to get out of harm's way as well. Dangerously close to death, but crucially living.
Oh my god, Eevee is literally just clawing the round back.
So much time just bought alone. With that, Lugs back in the lead again. Uber's back as well. Plenty of opportunity now for an exchange that could go either way, so they've really bought themselves back into this. It's going to be first pop here for the side of Lugs, just ever so slightly earlier. Pigeon needing a lot of damage before popping though, which means this post-Uber might just be compromised for the med here if there's some sort of aggressional follow-up that comes through, but no dice. Frenchies are taking it slow, especially with Alien down as well. They kind of can't really afford to do too much, but they do need to get on that point eventually. Time is ticking. Not much left on the clock for the Lugs, and if you want to have an opportunity to actually win this round, you do have to get on that sooner rather than later. Zen down doesn't help the case though, and with Eevee still alive as well, Rivka finally healing up. Does look like Lugs are going to be in control of this for a little bit longer. Maybe even a nice flank behind here as well, just cutting off escape routes and whatnot. Not looking all that nice. There goes Afri, and it's starting to fall apart for the French side once more. Sussex just about escaping, but can he keep a soldier alive? At the very least he can. This is going to be enough to get back to the point. They might just get an Uber in time, but they have to get on that point very quickly.
A lot of 1 HP warriors running around for the Club Lugs there, and I liked Gigi's kind of jump where he goes behind, and he knows that his team are spamming well. He just needs to up the ante a little bit more with that little bit more spam from a different angle.
That might just be what made the difference here. There's the Uber in play. Obviously, it's a bit later for the side of dogs, but is that going to be enough? The positioning very compromised. They're not really chasing much with this, and now Loopy's just looking for players that aren't in the Uber, trying to find anything with this, as Gigi is the first to go down. The point cap being put down ever so slightly. Alien trading out for Scout on the flank. No soldiers now to try and spam this point with him. Tenno eating a lot of damage as well and dying. There goes Afri. Rivka laying down the pain. It's 2-1 for the side of Club Lugs.
Well, clout cometh, clout leaveth again. But yeah, this is some nice individual play, I would say, coming out from Club Lugs, showing a kind of well-rounded aspects of their gameplay. I mean, sure, the second round was kind of fixed by explosive dogs, but now it's just showing a bit more clutchness from Club Lugs. And what are explosive dogs going to adjust now?
We'll see. Maybe they always have to adapt. They always have to see what happens first, and then they find their adaptation path. They find a new way to deal with what's thrown at them. For now, it's going to be another mid-fight over this point, seeing if this is where they do some adjustments. Last time around, they could get an early frag, but it wasn't enough to convert much, and it looks like Lugs are actually taking it a bit more slowly this time as well. Very, very careful. Obviously, Loopy on the point, but that's about it. More aggression, more initiative being shown here by the French side for the time being. Brick's eating a lot of damage, eventually dies on the flank. That is an opening frag. That might just give you a little bit of ground to work with, and it is enough to scare the Lugs off for now. Get that first cap on the road for the dogs, as the Ubers are now in play as well. And we'll have to see how this bomb plays out for the French side here. They do get the force, and that is probably all they could have wanted.
Yeah, this has gone wonderfully though, because Sauce's got no patience to use this Uber charge with. It's kind of thankful that he's managed to get out to say like he's on his own completely. 2 scouts and a soldier. Oh boy, that medic has died the long death.
That's a very unfortunate one. Yeah, getting spawn camped as well. The Rivka just putting on a bit of slowdown there. Insult to injury, so to say. That's gonna be about a 30% disad now for the French side here. Nothing completely dire. A nice couple of bombs through here by both soldiers could open things up a little bit. Alien will go down immediately, but you know, opportunities are had. Ground is claimed, and looks like the dogs will have an opportunity here to get back out. Unfortunately, Rivka's still staying alive. committing a lot of resources to killing that demo. Meanwhile, Afri eating a lot of damage on the other side, a lot of aggression, just about living. Sussex doing his absolute damnedest to keep that demo man standing in this fight and doing a mighty fine job at it too, as Eevee goes down as well. And it does look like Dogs will have an opportunity at least to take the point here. But will they be able to hang on to it? As the Uber comes out immediately for Lugs, they know they're still disconnected. Sussex doesn't have yet, so Frenchies just have to respect that one and back off.
Man, flanks on flanks on flanks on flanks. This game was just teams trying to punish each other for their sort of hubris on these flanks. And, well, we're going to pop off the Uber, but we're losing a couple of frags during the Uber charge. The Demo Man as well. Not really the hopeful praise that they were hoping for. And they can come back in now over on Club Lugs. They come out of this relatively unscathed.
Afri getting killed in spawn as well as Loopy's just flanking with a crazy flank once more. Eventually gets cleaned up, but that is enough time bought again. Lugs in control of the point once more. Already ahead by 30 seconds now, and it's only going to start getting worse. They're trying to damage the Dogs to get back on, get that cap time. Lots of damage to the Pigeon as well means there's a follow-up. People Pigeon has a nice rocket. Pigeon eating a lot of aggression, getting a lot of danger. Getting that Uber in time though, and that is going to make things tough for the French side. Because how are they going to keep this point now?
Yeah, I think they were a little worried about the Uber charge coming out defensively and then striking the combo team if they backed that bomb up. So they just put a lot of trust in their soldiers. Oh, Afri with a nice kind of psychic oracle trap ready for those soldiers to deal with them. And now they can kind of come out of this a bit more punishing to say like Fat Pigeon was the one that used their Uber.
And it looks like that is an opportunity for the Dogs. They just have to actually keep it clean. Ideally keep that Uber in play as well. Point flipping. Nice opportunity to get that forward hold established here too. Afri already aggressive in lobby with Yakalila watching the main side as well. And if they can make sure nobody slips on through here, they can actually finally get some time taken. They're not too far behind, but 40 seconds is still a decent amount in a King of the Hill map, so if Eevee can get something else, oh my god, it's a drop actually. Oh my goodness gracious, that is disastrous. That is absolutely disastrous for the French side.
Yeah, torn from two different doorways. Soldier dunking you over the head and Scout coming through the main. So a little drop ball from the explosive Dogs there. I don't think you can really blame Saucet too much in that situation. I mean, there's a bit of give and take there. I think at the end of the day, he could have just popped that and when things were getting a bit dangerous.
Trying to do his Miss Mula impression. You gotta learn from the best, you know? Sometimes that means not right-clicking when you should have, and sometimes that means being the greatest of all time. Unfortunately, that time, it didn't quite go according to plan. Lots of aggression, trying to get that Uber out of Pigeon or even a drop, but neither the soldiers nor the demo really accomplishing much for the French side. Still, they are in control of the cap until that very point, so until time is still okay for them. It's just a matter of will they get an Uber in time and make it stick. They will get it in time. Will they make it stick though? That's the real question here as they try to get back into this area. Uber ready and in store. It's a matter of how are they going to approach this? Where are they going with this one? What is the plan? Are they just going to try to cap this one? Especially eating a lot of damage, just walking onto the point, having to basically force to the Scout. Obviously a much better Uber out of the Lug side, and with everybody so low as well on the side of the explosive Dogs, things aren't looking all that healthy. Yakalila already goes down. There goes Zen as well. Point still not in control of the French side either, and this could be match point for the Lugs if they just keep this clean. Both soldiers bombing across, beautiful bomb, so much damage of the combo, Afri taken out of the equation, and that is just going to make things so much harder again for the French side.
Yes, and they still have the respawners on their side. The timer is ticking a bit quicker over on the side of Explosive Dogs, so they can get back into the fight just that bit sooner. But my god, the meat grinders grinding away at the doorways, and they've only got a couple of seconds left, and they throw any bodies they can for mere moments onto the point, trying to give the spirit of winning, but it's still going to end in the spirit of losing. It is 3 rounds to Club Lugs in this.
Well, do you feel your clout just draining out of your body, evaporating away? You were horribly off.
I've got a long list of excuses. This is week 1. These are basically brand new teams. We're kind of getting first impressions here, when we're just kind of going off pedigrees and old ways of previous heritages here. So I am glad. I'm really glad to see Club Lugs have kind of turned up for this. It goes to show that they are a team that has been scrimming well. They feel, what are the strengths of this team compared to Explosive Dogs? I think Rivka is doing a much better job than Afri, if I want to give, name names here. I think Gigi does a wonderful job of not getting caught out. These are kind of the boring snooze fests of the playing like a Pocket or a Roma on these categories. Same with Eevee as well, just not dying. Like, I know it sounds like just don't die, forehead, but it is kind of a snowballer when it comes to these events. Alien Smiley, Zen, they were very proactive in the game, but they would die first, and then it gives a lot of energy for your teammates to play off things at that point. They do have some weaknesses on Club Lugs, however. Their aggressive Ubers, kind of poo. Not gonna lie, they've not been strong, they've not been striking, they've not really been backed up as they could be. There's a couple of times that they tried, but I can see why they default more to like just holding on to that Uber and using it more as like a safety net. And as for Explosive Dogs, the positive things I've got to say to them is they had some adaptation in there. This is really good. This is like a sign of a top team, maybe even a Prem team. But that is some aspects. I think Alien Smiley and Zen are kind of feeling like their experience has to kind of strong arm things a bit here. They're like, right, guys, don't worry, I'll get something done. So they make these hero YOLO jumpo things, and when they don't come, bringing home the bacon, their teams are kind of sat there with, oh man, with now 2 soldiers down, and we can't really do anything.
Yeah, part of it is probably also just Loopy on the beam going 2 for 1 on kills, basically. Just fragging out, doing monstrous amounts of damage. Loopy was having a great map there, honestly. Like, doing a lot of work for the team as well. And that kind of, like, makes it even harder for the soldiers to do something, right? Even if you're going for these aggressive bombs, sure, you can catch them by surprise, and they were doing some good damage with bombs too, but they were also almost always meeting Loopy head on, like face on, and he was on top of it. He was keeping Pigeon so safe and secure. It was kind of crazy. And I was just working out the dynamic. Put the scout on the beam and just let him work. And it worked out well for them that time around at the very least. Now, is it going to be the same story on our second map? That'll remain to be seen, because I think Metalworks is going to play quite differently. But, it is something. Interesting log.
Yeah, I'm looking at the logs. I think what's interesting about these is both soldiers have a positive KD on a Bagel map. This is usually a little rarer because soldiers are the first one to kind of go in and die and go down for the calls and all this stuff, especially breaking forward holds. But good job on Eevee and GG just staying alive throughout all this, and they showed a bit of flexibility in their clutch ability as well. Like, as in, they had some clutch moments on top of their boring jobs and just, it's not dying, very good. I'm a bit surprised that Rivka actually comes out with a little less damage compared to Afri, because Afri was dying a lot. But I think Afri was very much about staying around the point. Rivka had no quarrels about going more to these houses and just chilling there throughout these little fights. And Sosik just had a couple of unsavory sort of deaths, kind of a couple of drops here and there, while Fat Pigeon felt like actually pretty clutch compared, like a nice crossbows, some clean counter Ubers, keeping people alive. But yeah, this is by far, I would say, this is the strongest showing that we've seen in the top season so far.
Yeah, it's been quite strong, and I had a feeling that this Lugs team was going to be probably like top half of the table, pretty safely. I think that was a pretty safe bet. Like, but I didn't know where I was going to place them initially, right? But with the performance we've seen so far out of them, they might very well not just be in the top half. They might be in the top like couple of teams potentially. Like, obviously, I off the top of my head don't quite remember all the teams that are in top this season, right? And there's plenty of opportunity for things to change as the weeks go along. But if they continue like this and continue improving, right? Considering this is them potentially at the weakest we'll ever see them. Like, they're only gonna get stronger as the season goes on, as they get to play with each other more and more and improve and stuff. So this is a pretty dangerous team. They got potential. They have a chance here to be a force to be reckoned with for other teams going against them. If they're disposing of this, well, clearly weaker, but still, in my opinion, on paper, still solid-looking French team quite handily. Yeah, this is an interesting look forward, I guess, to how the season might evolve.
Yes, a very optimistic outlook. But I'm not going to count my chickens until they hatch here. We've got one more map, and obviously if they can show a strong showing on 5CP, then I'm going to be a bit more convinced, as this has obviously got a bit more framework to work with on a 5CP map. You know, everyone kind of plays these sort of maps similar. You going a little bit more leeway. You're not really punished as much for losing one player so much in these. And also you can have a bit more individual flair, I would say. You don't have 6 people always looking at you when you're making your plays.
Yeah, there's an actual flank here that you can go through that isn't just basically the same area that everybody's already watching, and you might have an opportunity to not jump directly into a scout. So there's a chance here for Alien Zen to get away with more, for instance. I can see that. I think this is the French team's chance to really prove themselves, to come back, right? If at the end of the day, Bagel is a map that you kind of suck on a little bit, you weren't ready for, whatever, sure, happens, right? Can't necessarily blame them. It's the more odd one out. If you got your fundamentals in store, if you're checked in completely on the 5CP and ready for everything on Metalworks instead, it's a different story. Obviously, they have plenty of chance here to still, prove us wrong and show us, this is going to be a toss-up. Wait a minute, we're still in this fight. We're still in this conversation, and we also want to be in the top half of the playoffs bracket whenever that does happen, so plenty of opportunity for them to prove us wrong, I suppose. So what I'm saying is, your prediction is now that Lugs wins like 3-0, right?
If I'm honest, I still want to stick with the Frenchies. I think it's because of the philosophy that they have over on the French squad. They want to get a bit more aggressive, and I feel like on a map like Metalworks, that's going to tend a bit nicer than Bagel. But who knows? Maybe my clout will be in absolute tatters by the end of this.
Yeah, perhaps you not really have that much ball knowledge after all. You're not the ball knower. Everybody expects you to be, Turbo. You gotta brush up on your homework. Either way, the first midfight is underway on Metalworks. We'll see if either team can come out swinging here, come out rolling early. Lots of damage onto Pigeon, meaning positioning a bit compromised for Lugs. Heals a bit compromised for a while. Alien cleaned up, though, means that you don't have to worry about it as much. You can slowly retake stuff here, but you still have to worry about their health. That medic is dangerously low, and not finding a health pack for the longest time. You're still eating so much damage, but soaking up all this aggression. Tenno gets taken down as well. Yakalelo might just get caught. Does live, but Afri in the meantime does die, and Loopy is on a mission to try and clean up as much as he possibly can as he trades out with Zen eventually. Eevee is just on the chase as well. This is a very, very large show of aggression out of the Lugs here. They haven't even capped mid yet, and they're already aggressing into last. With Uber's still in play for both sides as well. Eevee eventually cleaned up. Pigeon having to pop there. Perhaps a bit too ambitious. And Rushka just not quite finding enough to protect the medic against 3 players. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, this is kind of the defensive warts showing up. Like, it's all great if you can do a really defensive mid, but then when you're making these transitions and these punish, you're kind of showing a bit bare and more. But they will pop off the Uber, NA style, straight through a doorway, see if they can kind of get a gotcha on anyone. They find no one, but the consolation prize for mid isn't the worst in the world. Losing a Demoman, though, is a prize in of itself.
Yeah, Loopy ripping out the sniper rifle, showing he's a force to reckon with that thing as well, and maybe really catching them off guard. I don't think they were expecting that sniper at all through Valley. Not a very, usual spot for snipers to play in general on this map to begin with. Not the most friendly sightlines, but it is enough for Loopy to just try and go haywire on the mid here. Not quite hitting the shots now, but just the presence alone is enough to pressure people back as well. Because all it takes is hitting a shot eventually. And there's a soldier removed out of the equation, which means Dog's now exclusively forced to try and hold the second. And that sniper still in play is very dangerous for lower here. Surely their positioning probably adjusted a little bit for it already. You see Sussex very, very passive in the shutter. Ready for the bombs, ready for a sniper sight line, but that is also giving a lot of ground to the Lugs here to try and just get onto second and do something. And with Yakalilo taken out of the equation, that's a scout missing now. Things are not looking so hot. They have to try and hold this. The Uber's popped off as well. Sussex eats a lot of damage trying to cross. Obviously, it's a lot better of an Uber for the side of the Lugs, and they might just chase this as deep as they can. Yeah, they're gonna try to maybe even catch a demo out here. They find Sussex, they find Afri. Oh, it is all crumbling down.
They might have to dig deep here. Alien Smiley decides to double down and go more into the belly of the beast. They will be backed off at last. There's no medic to kind of buff these classes in, so it should be quite free for the Club Lugs to get in and start fighting. The sticks on point. What are they waiting for? There we go. We've got our first round.
Loopy just hitting shot after shot as well. They're just just divine. force to be reckoned with here, my lord. You hate to see it when you are going up against it, but when a sniper can kind of just get away with that much, that stings. It must sting a little bit. But it's a quick first round, you know? You can see that either way. Quick first round, oh, we suck ass. If you're the French team, you might think, oh, we suck ass. We lost in like 4 minutes. What can we possibly do? But at the same time, it was only 4 minutes. Yeah, 26 more, you know? Plenty of time to try and mount a comeback here. Find your way back into this. It's a fluke round. Okay, so be it. You'll find your chance yet to have a better shot at this mid. It was going fine last time for a while. Early frags and all that. Let's see if they can continue once more, as Captain's already been put down by the Lugs. Lots of control here projected by them as well, but our bombs across. There is some projection of power here out of the French side. Can't quite get the shot lined up on Zen. Would have been a beautiful one. He does eventually die to fall damage, and that might just be it for the mid. Africot as well. That is definitely it. And the chase is already on for the side of Lugs. They are not letting this rest on their laurels whatsoever. They want to make sure that these French players fear them, respect them.
Yeah, this team showing a bit of prowess on multiple facets. I think they play a lot more chill TF2 in the sense that they aren't going aggressive. They're just kind of playing off little bouts of damage, surviving the initial aggressions. They're going to pop in Ubercharge now, nice and early, to deal with only a level 1 sentry gun. That Pigeon though might be stuck at the door though, so that is a win for the Book of the Explosive Dogs, but now they have to transition this into a push out, and it's going to start off really nicely by getting a pick onto Greg. Yeah,
Greg's a bit overextended, trying to maybe find something that last point. Not going to find anything. They got everybody in front of them as well. They don't have to worry about the back cap, so it's just a matter of can they catch more players. Rivka going down makes it a lot easier as well to even transition to mid here. They don't have to worry about stickies at all. Yeah, they're already positioning players on the point, ready to go. Rick's now on the sniper rifle instead, seeing if he can catch somebody out. Let's see if Dogs are ready for it this time. Know how to play around the sniper well enough. He wants that medic shot so badly, but this demo's on the chase actually. Oh my god! Trying his damnedest to really put pressure on that sniper and immediately paying for it with his life. What a beautiful play from Grix, actually salvaging that sniper play into a very important frag. Still, though, Dogs on the charge. They still have an Uber ad to work with. Alien already in deep. That's a soldier surely getting caught here. And the Uber being used very proactively outside of the explosive Dogs. They're not finding much with it. They clean up Eevee. That's about it, as GG is still behind as well. Does eventually get spotted. Does eventually get cleaned up, but not without trading against Zen. And now there's a full Uber on the defensive side. But crucially, they are down 2 players, which means they're probably not pushing out anytime soon.
Yeah, this is still good. I mean, Ubering into second in situations like that it's safer. It's like a guarantee. It's a lot easier to play the second and kind of deal with the enemy screwing up their push out from last than it is the other way around. I'm surprised they're not going to make a backcat play, if I'm honest, but maybe the psychology of that alone might be enough to kind of scare poor Club Lugs.
Yakalila with the deep sniper peek. Not quite finding the shot just yet, but a bit of a sniper opportunity here now coming out of the French side as well, seeing if they can find something with it, find a crucial frag, and in the meantime, Uber has come up again as well for the French side, so they are not disconnected anymore. Loopy's on the flank already, managed to slip through. The point gets capped as well, and Lugs are back in control of second, but they're really hoping on this Yakalila sniper play potentially working in the favor of the Dogs, as they're maybe anticipating a bit more aggression out of the side of Lugs, but they're up around. At the end of the day, Lugs can perfectly accept themselves just waiting this one out, so it really is the initiative for the Dogs here. They have to find something, get through the second, and banking on a sniper play can be a double-edged sword. It can work very well if he hits the shot, but if you're waiting for it too long, they're not sightlines presented themselves to you, you might have to worry about it. That's a deep peek, though. Oh, this is a dangerous shot onto your medic.
Oh, but unfortunately,
can't hit it. And they're actually very far forward now, Lugs. They're just going all the way around here on mid with the combo.
They're pushing straight to second, though, with the rest of the combo. They're going 3 times cap. I'm pretty sure this second cap's a bit quicker than the mid, but
blocked,
they're getting enough blocks in. It's going to come real close. They really needed that scout and that second point, though, if they wanted to make that back cap happen. And well, now we kind of awkwardly reset things, because obviously we spent a couple of resources sending those players back to block the point, and it means you can't fully maybe keep the mid unless you get really aggressive with the Uber, and that's what they did.
And unfortunately for them, as they're trying to escape, there was an Uber ready, waiting for them to cut them off, and Loopy and Pigeon just easily pick up a little Sussex frag there as well. At the end of the day, it's only going to be about 20% advantage, but that is very much enough to get them all the way to last. And if they move quickly enough, maybe even an opportunity to push here too. They're building fast enough. They're getting this on lock. That sentry is only level 2 so far. It might be level 3 by the time they get there on the side of the Lugs. There's also a Pyro protecting it as best as he probably can, but yeah, they're just about slowing down still. Lugs in a very comfortable position here. Uber now coming up. Still plenty of time to go for Sussex to get his, so they move fast. If they move right here, there's the Pyro trying to protect, doing a lot of work actually keeping people hemmed in here. Beautiful work out of Tenno, single-handedly saving that Uber from being disastrous for his team. Sentry goes down, sure, but they actually find a frag onto Grix as well, and that is a beautiful, beautiful hold for the dogs. Will they be able to push out with it? Probably not, but at the very least they bought themselves plenty of time to restabilize themselves, and maybe they're eager enough, they're aggressive enough to actually have an opportunity into second here. They have to worry about the stickies, and I guess Alien is going to be the flashbang to clear them. Now it's just a matter of can they actually get the second cap down? Can they not worry about whoever's going to last, potentially as well? Looks like they have it on control, more or less.
Gigi is playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers. Like, that man not only went behind, but kind of gave him the circle around at the hope of catching a flank awry. The paranoia of the back cap was enough, because that could be a Roma with a pain train, you know, so they send everybody back, and they loop right round. He picks the line that allows him to get a health back in, and basically nullifies that entire Uber, and they are allowed to rotate back in all the confusion and get an easy Uber push to last when they have no defenses set up. Gigi is kind of like the Rock to Alien's scissors right now. He is just feels like a direct counter to this squad.
Reading them like a book, potentially, even. It is very, very curious. And now Lugs are probably going to start to feel a lot more comfortable. Sure, being up a round is nice. Being up 2 rounds with 20 minutes left on the clock is plenty of buffer. You can start making mistakes now, and the punishment won't even be that severe just yet. But it doesn't look like the team that has been making a lot of mistakes so far, so we'll see how this mid, I suppose, spells out for the French side, because they have to start finding responses here. It has been 10 minutes. There's 20 left. There's plenty of time for them to still adjust, but they need to start doing something. Alien already down. Nice bumped by TG as well. Across into the combo. Tenno's the one to go down for it, though. Sussex eventually gets cleaned up, though. And that is just a collapse in on the entire team. Afri, the only one left, and that's just because he ran away early. He's going to be holding last, licking his wounds, and that's going to be another last hold out of the French side. And they'll have to start locking these in, because Lugs are going to be eager. They're going to be very keen to keep this going straight away.
I deserve an apology to Club Lugs. I wasn't aware of your game. I'm sorry. I was blinded by the French charm, and this team is by far the strongest and very concise. It really looks like a ready-made playoff game in week 1.
Yeah, they are showing dominance right now. Tenno trying to hold the Uber off for a while, but can't quite have the staying power without the healing. Now Captain being put down as well. Loopy will go down, though. Right out for Zen on the other side. There goes Afri as well, which means no stickies to defend with, and that is crucial when trying to hold this point, because people can't get around quickly enough otherwise. And there you are. Make it 3-0 for the side of Lugs. 18 minutes left on the clock, and if this pace continues, we might just be looking at a 5-0 in regulation time.
Yeah. Really cold and concise with the rockets there. I think there was a couple of things slipping in between the cracks, but I think just the reservedness of these soldiers seem to be paying dividends. Like, they really break down their mids by not really going for these explosive jumps like Alien, Smiley, and Zen. They just want to claim one area at a time. They're like, if I can get this like one square across the span of 30 seconds and just go one by one, I think we can win the mid here, and it's won them every mid so far.
Maybe they can continue that streak. Maybe eventually the Frenchies find a response. These bombs work out in their favor. Alien trying to take some high ground, but overestimating the bombs there. They do find Rivka, though, and they get Grix as well, so things are turning out fine for them. They just got to keep their own team healthy, keep them alive, keep something rolling here. And for once, not only do they win a mid, they actually win it well enough with another player going down in Eevee. They have a good opportunity here to keep this rolling forward as well. Second, basically free for the taking. However, there's an Uber on last, so as easy as the Lugs have had it for these last pushes, it's going to be quite a different story for the dogs to try and do the same. Loopy just hovering the soldiers in the air as the heavy. They do find Grix, though, at the very, very least, as Tenna just goes in as well. There goes Zen. A lot of players setting themselves for this last push, or like force attempt, I suppose, as Yaka goes in. Very interesting, very ambitious. Man, they do delay the setup at least a little bit with Grix going down, but probably just trying to bait out this push now, as push comes through onto second after eating a lot of damage already, having to pop his stickies, and maybe a bit of an overestimation of their abilities there on the French side.
Yeah, it's just, I guess they really wanted to skip to the end. It's the classic, how many people can we throw in to make it seem too tasty to push out? But they actually did make the push out. They pop off Uber. Interesting from the explosive dogs. Alien Smiley is behind, so this is the avenue of play to get back into things. And they overextend themselves. Alien Smiley, he's doing massive damage. He's the wolf knocking at the door. But they can't find the right picks. They really were hoping for a fat pigeon kill, but they're actually going to end up with a fat Demoman kill.
It's still a pretty good series of frags, and as soon as they create a bit of chaos here, it seems to be turning well for the explosive dogs. Now it's a matter of can they get onto this point as well. Nice little damage here, just knocking down with Afri, doing a lot to get this point out of control. Lots of cap time being put down as well, but only 3 players left. Make it 2 with Alien and the Medic. Neither of them in this fight. And lots of good holding there out of the heavy as well to make sure nothing comes close. So for once again, it looks like second will be retaken by the Lugs unless an explosive respawn wave comes through, but no dice. They're gonna have to reset. They're gonna have to wait this out. Still, it was rather equal though, so plenty of opportunity to reaggress here. And again, the ball's in the court of the French side. They have 15 minutes to try and get 3 rounds, and they certainly will want to keep that movement going as the soldiers fly around, do a little bit of damage, see what they can find. Eevee eating a lot of it, but still living for the time being. And with both Ubers now in play, who plays this right click first? Who pulls the trigger first? It is the French side. Pigeon popping a little bit later, flashing a little bit more. Gonna fade around at the same time. But is this gonna be a good post-Uber positioning for the French side as they're bunching up on the point now, seeing if they can catch players out, find something. Alien goes down, but traded out for Loopy on the other side. That's a lot of damage there onto Eevee as well, but he lives, doesn't die. That's Tenno traded out on the other side instead, and unless Yakalilo can find a nice frag onto the medic here, lots of damage, 3 shots, make it 4, clean up the mid. Perfect opportunity, perfect positioning for the scout to be in. Now just gotta keep your own med safe, and you might have a chance here for the dogs.
Yeah, that was escaping for the explosive dogs there. It's the, but I guess it goes to show that if you just win out that last final fight, a lot is forgiven. It's like, oh, right, we're always meant to have things fall out like this, but I think it was just very, very lucky there that Yakalelo like bailed them out of what was a losing fight.
And it looks like we're gonna pause, huh? I mean, I saw some people time out on the map change, so perhaps, very likely, could be some technical issues. Happens to the best of us. It is what it is. Very interesting time for it though, because maybe it gives the dogs a bit of time here to readjust themselves. We'll have a little bit of a quick talk, right? Maybe it is even a tactical pause. I don't know why you would do that week 1 of your regular season ETF2L officials, but sometimes you might just take it that seriously, you know?
Yeah, I think teams kind of forget that they have this option to them. I can guarantee you the top teams do not forget about this. This is usually their favorite little moments, but we will go for an unpause now. So
must have been a quick crash for somebody, I guess.
I think a lot can still be said in all these little exchanges, but we'll see. We'll see if there's any sort of drastic timings or plays that come from it.
I suppose we'll know in about a minute's time as the French is trying to move forward through Valley here. Stussing, it's a lot of damage, holds on. Eventually doesn't want to drop to full damage, even though he wouldn't have. But I can't necessarily blame him for right-clicking there still. That is the Uber out of the equation. The one ace they had up their sleeves for this last push. And all they had to pay for it on the side of Lugs was 1 soldier. Now it's going to be an uphill battle here for the side of the dogs. They had an okay attempt last time. Might be even harder this time with Tenno going down to the sentry as well. A little bit of cap time being put down, but it's not enough, and everybody else gets chased out of there. They don't want to commit more than they already have, and Loopy's on the chase with the crits. This is dangerous. It's only 2 shots still, and you can't quite line them up perfectly, so nothing comes of it. Still, opportunity to retake second regardless for the side of the Lugs, as they're already just aggressing out here very, very, very forward, actually. Just one couple of frags, and there you go. They retake second, and there's a lot of positioning taken off of it. All right, fair enough. That Uber projects a lot of power.
I don't know why they were in such a rush over on Explosive Dogs to make that happen. Yeah, they got forced, and they're now going into last drive, but that was always going to be a really tough ordeal. But they threw a lot of people in there, and it made it almost guaranteed that they were going to make the push out onto second. Maybe they just knew the track record wasn't really strong on holding second with everybody there, so they just thought, why not just catch them off guard, give them a sucker punch maybe?
No, perhaps. Well, this was when a pause happened, so... Not much came of it. Nobody seems to have disconnected or anything. I guess it maybe was just a quick lag spike or tack talk or something like that. Either way, let's see if that renewed it enough for the French side as they're trying to get their way back into the second. Now again, they have to take the initiative. A little under 12 minutes left on the clock. They have to start making rounds here. They have to start making inroads and see if they can get something out of this Lugs team, but they're just not giving them much. And that's a drop out of Sosik again!
Huh? Excuse me, my camera was not looking at that. That's not where the action should be. So they were just chilling and must have been just giving them the death stare, but they just gave him the death.
Yeah, they were just kind of like really aggressive, and Rivka just places some nice stickies and managed to catch Sosik off guard as he's trying to back off again, and that is disastrous once more for the side of Explosive Dogs now. How are they possibly going to be able to hang on to this now? They're saving grace is a frag, or at the very, very least a force out of Pigeon, but I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon. They're keeping that medic safe and sound, and eventually the Uber tries to get used in the second here. It's just going to be pressuring. It's not like there's going to be any counter coming out. Although, these dogs, very much aggressive, very much feeling the pressure and wanting to make something happen. Then goes down, but they trade out for GG on the other side. That's a nice little bomb there by Alien, but what a pipe by Rivka!
Yeah, it gets the kill against Alien Smiley, but this probably sends a lot more people confused, because when you see a Demoman get a kill like that, your scouts probably think, oh, maybe we could still turn this around here, and they stick a little bit more in the fight, and then the save your friend syndrome kind of kicks in a bit more, because you have some hope in your heart, you know, from these little turnaround kills, when really they should have just got every soul out.
Well, it does come back to bite them. Dogs back in control. Bit of an Uber ad as well, though. It will probably fade by the time. Have a chance here. Doesn't find what it needs to, but Sosik, again, very dangerously low. And they're going to have to try and make the Uber stick. I mean, it's going to be an exchange. Tenno down as well doesn't make it any easier.
They want to fight it here, it looks like. That Pigeon really pops off the Uber first, however, and they respond. It's only a Demoman in this Uber, and he's going to be out of gas, and the Loopy wants to maybe dedicate. No, we're playing really safe here over on Club Lugs.
Can't blame them. At the end of the day, they are up 3 rounds, right? There's very little reason for them to risk anything more at this point. They can just take it slow, park the bus a little bit. Maybe this is some good practice as well, right? Especially against even better teams. You're gonna be having situations like this where you just have to slow the game down a bit, where you have to find an opportunity to, you know, grind a little bit. And having the chance to just practice this in an official is probably not bad for them either, right? As the chances fade away for the Frenchies and they just have to keep throwing stuff at them, it's a nice position to be in for the Lugs to practice that a little bit as well, as they shut down Senna pretty handily, shut down Alien as well, lots of damage onto Pigeon, but they have it under control. Yakalila gets taken down, and that triple sack isn't enough to get that pressure down, and they actually lose Sosik on the other side as Loopy just holds W again.
Yeah, it was very well set up by Gigi, not only keeping like the clamp down on the second. Tenno's going to go for maybe a back cap. Shouldn't realistically be able to do that because there's just way too many people that can respond in time. But he's going to waste time here. That's probably the best timeline he could have spent his little scout effort on during all this. Gives us time for his team to get the forward respawn and maybe make a push or defense on mid. And they're humoring this idea.
They really are. That's okay. A nice force out of Pigeon. Eventually gets that Uber out of the equation. I guess it was Alien. I should credit for that instead. But yes, that is a nice hold by Pigeon though. Waiting until the last second. That air shot was gonna be lethal, so you gotta take those. Still, Lugs are capping mid anyway. They're getting a lot of presence here. They are trading out favorably as well in terms of player numbers, so they can certainly keep fighting this. And with 2 players still missing for the front lines here on the French side, they just have to back out. There's nothing they can do. Ubers are still rather equal as well. Sure, Sosik is ahead by maybe 15%, but I don't think that's gonna matter that much when you're already on the back foot, and it looks like Lugs are just on the road to try and get another round on the board here. They certainly look poised. Maybe try and keep this going. I guess it's gonna be dire for the dogs now, because with 7.5 minutes left on the clock, 3 rounds are starting to look like a very tall order.
Yeah, that was a very cool exchange. I think you could go back and forth between the decision making on a lot of players or a lot of the team efforts there about what would have been the right decision to make. Because, both teams have basically apples and oranges when it comes to advantage. Not any team looks like they're stronger in any sort of one position. They're making the push out. Again now, Alien Smiley kind of feeding his way in. And they're going to respond with a single Uber over on Club Lugs. And GG, the Rock against Scissors, is again just coming out so much stronger in all of this. Even gets the health pack to boot. I'm telling you, GG is just completely taking over the game. And he's not even moving.
It is kind of crazy how every single time there's an Uber in by the explosive dogs, GG's just on the flank immediately. In behind, straight away, ready to just catch off anybody outside of the Uber, catch off anybody who's backing off. And even though we've been saying that the dogs have been adapting a little bit, their Ubers have been mostly the same. They always just send in a single scout and kind of just hope for the best of it. And I feel like Lugs are just starting to read that play like an open book perfectly every single time. Yeah, okay, there's a single scout, just spread out a little bit. He can't do anything, and we win. And that's what they do. Now they're up 4-0, and with 6 minutes left on the clock, they can still close this out 5-0 in regulation time.
I think the philosophy for Club Lugs and mid is like, why change? Our one mid is good, and they just literally stick with that one mid. They haven't changed a lick of it at all. They just kind of stick with the same plan over and over again. And I think Explosive Dogs, they did come up with a cool mid last time, but they lose Zen immediately going for a really aggressive mid, which statistically have been the worst kind of style mids they've been playing this game. They really need to play more reserved, I think.
They're
Take a page out of the Club Lug book.
Rocking that Kritzkrieg, an early aggressive pop here onto Afri. Unfortunately, he's not finding anything. They probably expected more with seeing Eevee around the corner, but that's all it was. Just a single soldier.
Situation.
Unfortunately, unless they can stack a lot here,
they are stacking.
They're
actually going to get this bit quicker. They need to get the block again. And yeah, they get the block again.
Alien saving that block just about. Now it's a chance here for the French to keep this rolling forward. They have so much momentum here. They have to keep this going. They still don't have an Uber to use, or crits much rather to use, versus the Uber on the other side.
Uber
they're just waiting.
Hurt, though. This Uber is going to come in so scarily. They do get the drop quicks though. And they're ignoring the Demo Man. They want to deal with all these players that go straight into last. They are dreaming, though, if they're over on the side of Explosive Dogs, if they think they can fight into all those respawners and just make a tailwind for last. But all that's going to happen now is they're going to build back this Uber and they're going to have this threat all over. It's like a very, very elongated delay for these teammates. Oh, Rivka getting the forward respawn kind of scumbagging with the Demo Man.
I think he did that by sticky jumping, by the way. That was while he was sticky jumping, and he just kills Yakalelo just randomly, I guess, who just happened to walk over a sticky trap at that exact moment. You hate to see that. It's just truly heinous to see that happen. Then nice little bomb here into the combo. A little bit of damage onto the medic, but follow-up does come through with Alien. But that is 3 players down in exchange for a single medic. Make it 4 souls for 1, and only a scout trying to escort Sussex back to safety, who's still on the crit streak, by the way.
Are you a fan of James Bond? Do you think Secret Agent Yakalelo can kill all 5 members of Club Lugs? Sadly, he cannot, not even by the end of my monologue. I thought he might be able to make a cool play with the crits, but we never even came to that.
They caught Sussex too quickly. He couldn't get around the corner, ate a lot of damage, and so she wrote. So, nice little rocket there by Alien. Get onto Rivka at the very least. It's just ego plays at this point. You can only play for the logs. You can't win anymore if you're Explosive Dogs, but you can at least try to do some funny stuff. Put some numbers on the logs. For instance, I'm already seeing Loopy is 27-6, which is frankly kind of disgusting for a scout to have on a 5 CP map. This is like product stats we're seeing here, and he's pulling us off on Metalworks. Now on the Spy, obviously trying to go for like a cheeky backstab play here at some point, but that might not be necessary as 2 players are already dead for a side of Explosive Dogs, and Loopy is just being patient, being slow here, seeing what he can do, seeing if he can get onto something important. Sussex still rocking that crit streak, and there's the Loopy decloak. Nobody spotted him just yet. Actually, Sussex did spot him. Okay, he was probably ready to arrow him and realized, wait a minute, this guy isn't getting healed.
Yes, this is the El Trashico of all Trashico time, so, buckle in for 2 minutes, boys and girls. We are going to be sitting pretty for a while.
Well, the crit screen coming out. Unfortunately, Pigeon can just right-click and completely invalidate the existence of those crits entirely. I suppose it was used to get the Uber out of the equation, and you can try to dry fight this, but Alien soaks up a lot of aggression, manages to trade it for Gigi, and that's about it, as Yakulilo trades up for Grix on the other side, and maybe, just maybe, they're actually muscling their way in here. They're losing a lot of players for it, and Club Lugs might just have a little bit of re-aggression in their pockets still as well, as they come back out. Oh my lord, Rivka just walking on forward.
The medic fight! Sussex wins!
Sussex wins that one, alright. That's worth a taunt. That's worth a taunt, especially in garbage time. He's earned that.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. The longest minutes of your life. Yeah, we're losing form a bit. I would take every sort of gameplay here with a pinch of salt. You can tell they're losing formation over on Club Lugs. They're just taking it easy, chill, not overthinking things. And Alien Smiley even playing some corner goblins in the downtime.
2 spies on the side of the Frenchies. Okay. Sussex being one of the off-classers as well. Yeah, I think this is true garbage time. We've finally reached it. This is the peak of Team Fortress 2 experience. This is what the elites don't want you to see. If you showed this to Bani, he would have a heart attack.
This is, if anything, this is true French gameplay. They are playing as many spies as they can.
The Dead Ringer too.
Main classing as well.
The Dead Ringer. Now, unfortunately, didn't quite work out. Now, Tenno is in the same spot that Alien was in and gets spotted out instantaneously. Very unfortunate. Oh well. Still. Is it going? We have a chance here. I'm sorry I'm yawning.
Well, yeah.
It kind of stayed
very boring gameplay. 2 spies.
Can somebody get like a cool kill so I can scream a little bit and get excited? Loopy's doing a nice little Uber here, I suppose, but only a couple of frags. Come on.
It's because you're yawning, because I know the analytical breakdown is coming very soon, but I'm waiting patiently. I've got 10 seconds left until I unlock the box. So
Pandora's box, even.
The problem is I'm old and ancient, and all these points have been kind of forgotten on me. I think any unsavory words I had for explosive dogs have been left behind in the timeline, so quite smart here with the double spice ranking about.
You could argue that. Smart is a way that you can describe it. I don't know if it's the most adequate, but it is an interesting one nonetheless. Look, it kind of fell apart towards the end, but all things considered, even if they, let's be honest, kind of got shellacked a little bit on the French side, kind of, maybe dog walked, you could say. There were glimpses there. There were glimpses in there. They did okay at parts, I think.
So I think Explosive Dogs is an apt name for them. They are very wild with their strategy as well as their execution. Like basically a lot of this is either going to work or it isn't. And you'll immediately find out if these plays do. I'm talking things like throwing 4 people in at last and seeing if we can get an advantage on the enemy team messing up and pushing out. And also examples of, I think, making these Hail Marys, like we'll go for the back cap and we'll just see if we can still keep this going across every single point, back cap them like 3 or 4 times in a row. Also, like the mids as well, every single one has been aggressive to some degree. The one that worked was the one that was a bit reserved and was about kind of just dogpiling on Gigi in the house, who's been doing a lot of work. He makes it look like, obviously, that Gigi is just absolute commanding the server, but that's because the Explosive Dogs have just been running into him, and he's it seems to be that real rock for the team when it comes to his gameplay. He wants to just be very solid, and at the very least, if he can't hold something, he's not going to die, and if he is going to die, he's going to trade. But he still doesn't give up on his responsibilities and the advantages of the soldier. He's maybe it's because I'm a soldier main, but I thought it was a very nice, quiet game from him. Really good, and Evie was hitting some wonderful shots as well. What else can we say about this Club Lugs team? They were just really smart decisions. Very kind of. I most certainly believe that this team is going to be in the playoff for like top contender of the season if they keep up this. I haven't seen too many shades. I haven't seen like what is it, angles, dimensions of this team, because they were just basically hitting their defensive style just so well throughout all of it. Maybe there was a couple of moments where they were trying a couple of aggressive Ubers and such, but it's just all so succinct and like synced up and timed well over on Club Lugs, and it's really not been the top gameplay that we've been seeing in the previous games, certainly, I can say that. But the Explosive Dogs, they are more like... they're in good company, let's just say, with the rest of the teams this season. They, I think, are very much on the coattails of Alien Smiley and hoping if he can like pop off, but I just wasn't feeling that at all. Throughout all of this, his plays don't really go supported. They're just kind of like counted in that he's going to get a massive play and that be it. And then the decisions, like, they're just very, very spicy, extreme level decisions that, like, I think a lot of teams would not whip out in the starting minutes of the game.
Yeah, it seemed like almost desperate even early on already. Just kind of seeing if they can maybe overwhelm or catch the element of surprise. Work to be done, I suppose. Homework to be done for a French team. Still, all things considered, though, despite the imbalance, I suppose, in skill across these teams, and maybe the experience, the greater experience collectively showing more on the side of Club Lugs, I still think the Dogs, as you say, are probably going to have an easier time in the next few weeks, potentially, against the, well, weaker teams. Sometimes you just get somebody has to get a rough start to the season, right? Not everyone, it's not always you're going to get an easy start. Sometimes you're just going to have to go up against what ends up being the best team in the season at the start. That's just how it is sometimes, right?
It's very cool because this is week one,
yeah.
You're right. And these teams are incredibly new all across the board. And some of them are just going to come a bit more pear-shaped than others at the start, but their growth is not really found yet. This is really going to be revealing itself more in the second week or the third week, and we'll be getting to watch these teams side by side and see how they adapt and grow. And yeah, it will be very interesting. I have lost a lot of clout today, but that's just because I have a lot of belief in the French pedigree. But I will give, again, a strong apology to Club Lugs. They had a very nice showing, a very wonderful TF2, very clean TF2. Definitely interested to see more of them.
Yeah, and with that, I don't think there's much else to say. I don't know if the other match is still ongoing, so maybe we should just head over there. If it is also over, well, in that case, that's it from us. We'll see you again next week for more of these matches. We don't know when they are yet, but we will know sooner rather than later, so keep your eyes peeled. Socials, all the usual stuff, shoutouts, yada yada. Yeah.
Bye.